So I've noticed that my phone is drained to about a third of its full capacity. Possibly due to all the exams I had today. I had 3 finals today. One starting at 10:20 a.m. and the next at 3 p.m. and then the last at 5:20 p.m. I finished all of them early, but I used nearly all my time for the Principles of Psychology exam, which I assumed would end at 7:20, because I struggled on the very first question. I had an easier time with all the other questions. 14 was a somewhat close second. I'm hoping that I get a 100. Like I did with the 2 previous exams and Principles of Psychology. Though I have 4 extra credit points in that class, so if I don't get 100, it won't be the end of the world. I didn't give myself enough time to do a Quizlet learn on each chapter that I needed to study for the corrections final. But that only resulted in relatively mild struggles with the exam. I only had to guess on a few questions, which isn't too bad for an exam that's 100 multiple choice questions. I had to guess on maybe 12 questions, and most of those were educated guesses. So maybe a high 80 or low 90. I got my grade back for the final score. I think I got a 26 out of 33 for the research paper. My professor told me that I needed to work on my writing skills, and I do have to agree, it wouldn't hurt to improve my writing skills. If I don't get an A, if I don't get an A for corrections, it will quite possibly, the biggest factor will be because of the scores I got on those papers, those short writing assignments. The second biggest maybe being how I didn't really give myself enough time to study for the corrections final, because I thought that I needed to to allot resources to each class. So I studied for the police process final until the time of the final, and basically just studied between that final and the corrections final for the corrections final. The police process final was a bit of a breeze. It was pretty easy. Didn't find too much trouble with it. All in all, I think I did pretty well with today's finals. I'm glad I didn't fall asleep during any of the finals because I think I only got a couple hours of sleep. So I had 3 glasses of strong coffee at Brockway at around 8, I guess, from 8 to 9:30 perhaps. And then after the police process final, I had three to four Timbits, glazed and vanilla flavored, at the office because I wanted to take care. I stayed at Hartwell. I studied partially for the corrections final in the conference room near my international relations professor office because I wanted to professor's office because I wanted to take care of a bit of a disconsistency between for the group presentation project. And the feedback said that no written material was submitted, but I knew that written material was submitted. It's just that only one name was put on the paper, but I knew that paper was meant to be a group report because that's what the assignment says, a group report. We all contributed our own ideas to the group report, but only Michael wrote the group report itself. We had a meeting at the library one day where we worked on the presentation.
Tyler, can I get a cameo?
Sure.
Hey! Thanks, bro.
You're welcome. And then at Hartwell, at the office, I had a cup of coffee. The caffeine kept me from falling asleep at the finals. But I also noticed that I had a noticeable heartbeat. It's not noticeable now, but perhaps that has to do with the stress of taking 3 finals in one day, combined with all the caffeine I consumed. I didn't notice it during the police process final. I noticed it maybe a little during corrections. And then I definitely did notice it during the psychology final. Perhaps it has something to do with police process being first, corrections second, and then the psychology one last. I ended up getting the first question right, by the way. I asked the professor for clarification for the first question about 6 times, I guess.